Hey, hello, this is Jean Walters, and I want to share with you some possibilities that might change your life. So, to start with, I want to tell you about a story of my life. When I was a child, my mom was kind of a nervous wreck. Maybe you had a mom like that too, I don't know. But my mom was a nervous. Anything that was going on in life, she found a way to worry about it. So she fussed and she worried, and she was such a wreck that she was constantly moving and nervous, and she could not sit still. So I made this decree in my own mind that I was going to help her. You know, isn't that interesting? Some children are like that, they want to help. And so I figured that if I could talk her out of it, and maybe I could get her to be more peaceful. And of course, my view, knowing this now, was to have myself be in peace and the whole family be in peace. So what I did was I would always give her the other possibility. So, for instance, if the roof was leaking and she was all upset about that, I might say, "Well, Mom, now you know the roof is leaking, so now you can get it fixed." Now, I know that was kind of simplistic, but I was a kid at the time. Anyway, you get the idea here that my point of view was to try to help my mom calm down and be peaceful. Well, of course, that didn't work very well. But what it did was it gave me the opportunity to decide that I was going to find a way to live life without worry. And that's exactly what I did. So I wrote this book called The Journey from Anxiety to Peace, and in it there's a lot of different practical applications on how you could live a more peaceful life. So one of the first things that I would tell you about it is that um, it's important that you recognize your story. So you just heard my story in that I grew up in this household there was a lot of frenzy and worry, and because of that, I made a decision that I was going to find a different way. So sometimes you have the story and it urges you to make some different changes and to do it a different way. And sometimes your story is that you buy into the whole thing and you become a nervous wreck. So the important thing is to recognize your story, and how you do that is listen to yourself talk. Because do you talk about what's wrong in your life, or do you talk about something exciting that's happening? Are you talking about life as an adventure? There are lots of different ways to approach life. And when we listen to our story, we begin to recognize what we planted inside of our own psyche and how we're living it from that point of view. So take victimhood, for instance. Many people look at everything and consider themselves a victim of it all. For instance, you got a better opportunity than I did. I knew someone who told me that because my parents, I had a dad that read all the time, that was my big advantage. Well, it was an advantage. And his parents didn't, so then therefore he was underprivileged. So, of course, that's a story. And he could have changed it anytime he wanted, just go to the library. So it's that simple, basically. We all have a story. Is the story helping us, or is it decreasing us? Are we expanding with it, or are we decreasing with it? And when you start listening to what you're saying to people and how you pose yourself in life, that tells you a lot about what your story is. If the story is not helping you, then it's time to change the story. So there's possibilities in everything. There's a way to move forward no matter what. Albert Einstein, the great scientist, said, you never address a problem from the level of the problem. You go above it. So that's how we begin to make changes. We look at our situation from every possible angle, and we recognize what the possibilities are, what the way is to change it, reduce it, adjust it. So in my case, I decided to look at every way to reduce worry, and in fact, not even go there, and live a life of possibility. So that meant that I learned to meditate, that meant that I studied metaphysics, that meant that I found ways to adjust situations so that I could manage them. And there's that, but it's not difficult. One thing that's very possible for every single person is to live in gratitude. We have so much to be grateful for. We we have homes, we have food, we have family, we have friends. And if we don't, we have the possibility of having all that. So there's so much to be grateful for. There's possibilities all the time to change whatever it is that you want to change. You can get education. You can find a way to be involved. You can find a way to connect. So all of these things are just ways that we can start life in a new manner. What are your possibilities and what can you be grateful for right now? Can you be grateful for health and well-being? Can you be grateful that you have someone caring in your life? Can you be grateful that you have food available? There's so many simple things that we can be grateful for. One nice thing is just to go out into nature and just enjoy the rhythm of nature. When we go into nature, we discover a whole different rhythm. There's nothing worrying in nature. The animals might scurry around, but they're not worried. Birds even know exactly when to fly south and when to build nests, and they're not worried about it. They just do it. So we want to move into that kind of energy where we're listening to this inner voice and we're allowing it to tell us what and when to do. So to complete this, what I want to do is give you the opportunity to have 3 chapters of this book for free, and it will help you get started in reducing anxiety. So what you'll have to do is just send me an email, jean@spiritualtransformation.com, EAN@spiritualtransformation.com, and let me know that you heard this presentation, and then I will send you 3 chapters of the book to get you started. So I wish you a great day, and I look forward to hearing from you.